You are listening to Black Talk Radio News with Scotty Reed. Now, this is a partial report. It does say it is for the public, so it is actually on the Sanford, Florida.gov website, sanfordfl.gov. It was shared with me by a listener to this program, and I appreciate that. And I'm just going to share some of the stuff with you. Again, it was date was 2/26/2012 at 19:17. That is 7 o'clock, 7:17 in the evening. That's military time that they use. Let's see. It was an incident address. It gave 2831 Retreat View Circle, Sanford, Florida 32771. Now, this is what caught my eye. It said it has these things that has headings, and then it has stuff under it. I guess I'll just share with you. Offense number, then it says victims, then it says offenders, then it says arrested, drug-related, alcohol-related, dispatch code, and some other stuff. Now, it's listing one offenses. So something that, if I'm reading this correctly, just using common sense, that means that a crime took place. Offenses, that's what an offense. That means you did something to break the law. It has victims, one victim. All right. Then it goes on to say offenders, 0. So how can you have an offense without an offender? That doesn't make sense. How can you have an offense without an offender? So I walked back my comments. I was mistaken. Again, I don't know if this could have been changed, if they could have been directed in how they logged this report. I don't know. But this doesn't make sense. This is put out there by the responding officers. The reporting officer was Ayala Ricardo. So his first name is Ricardo Ayala. Ricardo Ayala. He was working on Shift B in the division. DIS-1 unit is S13112. And again, the date is 2/26/2012. And it says drug related? No. So that's asking the question, well, why was a narcotics agent dispatched out there first? Why was he the first responding officer? Was it alcohol related? Why wasn't George Zimmerman tested for alcohol or drugs? And as we know now, they tested the dead body of Trayvon Martin for alcohol and drugs. And his father couldn't even find him for 3 days. He was laying in a morgue somewhere on a slab, and them doing this to his body. Okay? And as we, of course, know, Trayvon wasn't on alcohol. He wasn't using drugs. Can we say the same about George Zimmerman? Well, we will never know because they didn't test him. But I think the important thing here to look at is it has listed offenses, and then it says it has one offense, then victims, 1, offenders, 0. So again, how can you have a victim of an offense without an offender? It makes no sense to me. But then it goes down to the offenses section. It says description. It gives the number or code. I guess there's some sort of code. It says 1, description, homicide, negligent, manslaughter, unnecessary killing to prevent unlawful act. Okay, now, Trayvon was just walking while black. He wasn't in the act of committing a crime. We know that. That's a fact. He was there visiting with his father and his father's fiance. But it's interesting again. Now, they said there was an offense. What was that offense? How was that offense described? As a homicide, negligible, manslaughter, unnecessary killing. This is important stuff here. And I appreciate the person who gave this to me, all right, who alerted me to this. Now, it then goes on to talk about the witnesses. It's showing 1, 2, 3 witnesses. We know that there was a Caucasian woman. It happened in her backyard, and she said they didn't want her statement. They even tried to lead her into her statement and falsely claiming it was George Zimmerman yelling for help. This is very interesting. Wow. Let me go down. It says partial report. It lists some more stuff. Let's see. Trayvon Benjamin Martin doesn't have his age. Lists his date of birth as February the 5th, 1995. Weight, height, and person type. It says person type, victim, juvenile. So again, Trayvon Martin's a victim here. This is the report that was logged by, let me go back up, by Officer Ricardo Ayala. So he possibly needs to be interviewed, all right? Somebody needs to ask him some questions, all right? And I will write about this as soon as I can. It'll probably be tomorrow before I can get to writing an article on this. But officer, it has a lot of stuff, and I'll link to it. Is what I'm basically trying to say to you. I will link to this. So you have, let's see, person type, subject. Okay, he should be subject, suspect. All right, George Michael Zimmerman. George Michael Zimmerman, hair brown, eyes brown. Doesn't list his driver license number. They've blacked out his address and phone number, but you can hear him giving out his phone number on one of those tapes that was released. They didn't bleep it out, but I'm sure his number's been changed by now or disconnected. Okay? But again, this is important stuff. Offenses. It says incident address, gives the address of where it happened. Offenses, 1. Victims, 1. Okay? Didn't arrest nobody. They did take him into custody and take him to the station in handcuffs to be interviewed. And in my opinion, it is once it got into the hands of the investigators that the cover-up began. Because as Officer Ricardo Ayala stated, as Officer Ayala stated, Trayvon was a victim of negligible homicide, manslaughter, unnecessary killing to prevent an unlawful act. But that's misleading because he wasn't engaged in an unlawful act. So is walking while black unlawful in Sanford, Florida? Interesting, very, very interesting. And I will do my best. If I can't get Attorney Michael Cord to analyze this, I will try to get another attorney to analyze this. So even in their own initial report, they logged a crime. So literally, they are letting George Zimmerman get away with murder.